The main entrance to the house wasn't used very often, but we kids were constantly playing on these steps. This is my mom Raisa and her younger sister Ludmila, as a young girl in her 20s and as a 10-year-old girl. This area was great for playing. We were not allowed to enter the house this way very often and therefore attracted to it. There was a room between two sets of doors. It was full of unknown and exciting objects. Every summer I went to southeast Ukraine, Donbass region, to a little station called Pelagievka. I kept doing it after my grandmother Tatiana died. My grandfather, who was paralyzed and needed to be looked after, lived with us in Belarus. He was brought here every summer as well. He died in this house in autumn, 5 years later after my granny's death. I love this place. I drew and painted a lot here. Sun, heat, Ukraine. One of the rare photos where Granddad and Granny are together. I think it was done not long ago before her death. Granddad was already paralyzed then. They were married in 1945. Granddad was a soldier in World War II. My granny was a partisan. In 1946 was born their first child, my mom. My granny is a little girl, village Monastyrek, Belarus Soviet Republic. My granny and my mom Raya. My mom was born in Donbass, a coal mining area, where her granny Gabka lived. Great-grandmother Gabka, my granddad's mother. She waited the whole life for the information about her husband Ivan and son Vasily, taken in 1930s to Gulag. After many years, she received a letter stating that they died in Gulag and were innocent. Mother of my granny Tanya, great-granny Totya. I never met her, even I was around 10 or 11 years old when she died. The reason for it was that she lived in Chernobyl-affected area in village Monastyrek, Mogilev region in south of Belarus. She died in 1990 before the Soviet Union collapsed. Her daughter Tanya, my granny, tragically died a couple of days after, on the 7th of March the same year. Great-granny Totya had 5 children. Her husband died at the beginning of World War II in 1941. Family photo, Musienko family. Photos were quite often taken on the white background, a whitewashed wall of an Ukrainian house in this case. Sometimes a piece of cloth was spread on the background so the photo will look more tidy. My mom is on the top left. My grandmother here is 24 years old. She already had my 2-year-old mother. She is working in school as a bookkeep cashier. She will lose this job in 3 months. She will be 2 months pregnant with her second child then. My mom is probably grandmother's age here, in her 20s. I'm older now than there are on these photos. For every child, one way or another, repeats his parents' progress. I could argue that, after all, one wants to learn from one's parents about one's own future, one's own aging. One wants to learn from them also the ultimate lesson, how to die. Joseph Brodsky. September 1985. My grandmother is burning sweet corn husks. I'm probably eating the sweet corn. September in Ukraine. It gets quite cold in the evenings. Summer is over, sad and happy at the same time. With hindsight, the content of these chests could be compared to our joint collective subconscious. To say the least, all these things were part of my parents' consciousness, token of their memory, of places and of times by a large preceding me, of their common and separate past, of their own youth and childhood, of a different era, almost of a different country. Joseph Brodsky. On the way to Rivne, sunflower field. Me and my cousins were smaller than the height of sunflowers. We were walking in a fantastic settings. Rough leaves of sunflowers. Sometimes it was a field of sweet corn, sunflowers, beetroot, or it was bare. We went there quite often to a friend of my grandmother, Auntie Luda, to buy milk. This was a long road for small kids, but full of enjoyment.